Good evening. So I'm Naz, and I am very thrilled, honored to be here and part of this conversation, this dialogue, and on this important platform. So super excited to share my ideas with you on social cohesiveness. So why is promoting social cohesiveness in our communities important? Our world today fears the different. This results in fear of diversity. As a result, there's talk about building walls and closing borders to immigrants and foreign nationals. We are all aware of what is happening across the border with our closest neighbor. They're saying a collective no to ethnic diversity and to assimilation of the generations of immigrants who have called the land their home. This is a phenomenon which is not limited to the current situation in North America. In Europe, we see this fear manifest itself in the form of Brexit, an exit from inclusiveness. Canadian provinces, including Ontario, are home to millions of immigrants. Ontario's Ministry of Finance website, in its Census 2001 highlights, Fact Sheet 5 notes that about 1 million of Ontario's foreign-born residents in 2001 had arrived in the last 10 years, between 1991 and 2001. These individuals accounted for 9% of the Ontario population. We cannot afford to build walls. Our strength lies in unity and cohesiveness. So how can we promote inclusiveness and cohesiveness? The media reports frequent incidents connected to racism. In June this year, Global News reported that a concerned citizen had recorded a racist verbal attack on an Asian senior in the city of Markham, Ontario. Why would someone lash out this way at another human being? Because there's a lack of empathy. Our communities need to understand that though we may seem different because we use different languages, have different cuisines, and dress, we are united in our desire to live in a safe and inclusive society. So one effective way to combat this lack of understanding and empathy would be to introduce immigrant families to the communities they will become a part of by connecting them with the families that reside there. Exposure to each other's cultures and way of life would enhance understanding of and respect for the values and beliefs of all. My neighbor's 8-year-old niece wears a hijab, as she belongs to a Muslim family that considers the garment essential to a woman's modesty. In school one day, her classmate, an 8-year-old boy, pulled it off her head, laughing, saying, "Why would you wear this? Are you bald? Let me see your head." It was hurtful to the little girl, and the school and the little boy's parents attempted to apologize to my neighbor's family and their child. So if families like my neighbors and the little boys could be paired together and get to know each other, our children might not only have a better understanding of each other's cultures and values and beliefs, they may also accept our differences. They may see that we're very similar in a lot of ways, that we're all the same. My idea is to develop a plan for mentor families. The provincial governments, such as Ontario's provincial government, could introduce the Mentoring Families program, and I hope that is then introduced in other provinces as well. And this can be done by setting up partnerships with community-based organizations that help settle new immigrants. The general public could be reached out to through effective media and social media campaigns. Families could be given incentives, such as discounts on groceries and family passes to Ontario attractions. Resident families that register for the mentorship programs could then be matched with immigrant families. Interactions could take place in local public spaces, such as libraries and community centers, and a social worker or community volunteer could oversee the mentorship plan. Families could be matched based on certain criteria, such as the ages of children within those households. New immigrants have questions and concerns, such as which schools are best in a neighborhood, and where can we buy the freshest groceries while staying within our budget. A lot of immigrant families can feel overwhelmed and do feel overwhelmed when trying to navigate the culture shock and sense of isolation. When my family arrived in Canada as new immigrants almost 20 years ago, we experienced similar emotions. Even simple things like how the transfer system works on a TTC bus was new to us. We had not encountered this in our native country. Much as my own family did, a large number of immigrant families end up reaching out to their own ethnic community organizations as well as their religious institutions. Thus, there is no cross-pollination of ideas or exchange of concerns. Communities are largely limited to their own cocoons, and one of the negative aspects of this is how it perpetuates stereotypes associated with groups of people. A coworker of mine was proactively looking for a new house, but was adamant that she would not move into a predominantly South Asian community. Her reason was that she's a single woman and that they don't respect single women, so I won't feel comfortable living there. More interactions between individuals, groups, and communities could help destroy such preconceptions. And why do I say this? That it's a preconception? Because I am aware of single women who live within South Asian communities and are not treated any differently from other members of the community. So I firmly believe that an initiative like mentoring families could go a long way in bringing community, cities, provinces, and the country as a whole together. So in conclusion, I would like to say that we are an incredibly diverse country, but we need mechanisms to help us understand each other. A Mentor Families initiative could bring us closer together. It would reduce the stress and anxiety of immigrants who arrive here with hopes and dreams but fear the unknown. It could help everyone involved realize that we have more similarities than differences. It would foster friendships and possibly open doors to collaborations that we have not even imagined yet. So much could be gained from this, not just for the mentees and mentors, but for the community at large and all the provinces of Canada. It would strengthen our collective values and in turn, make us a more tolerant and united country. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my thoughts.